I would like to call on Sidesh to address the comments by the representative of Senegal.
Thank you so much for the representative of Senegal and also the presentation from the China, because they also mentioned the same thing on the land degradation and the farmers and the youth, very similar topic. First of all, like the system created by these agrochemical companies, that we have to understand that they have been telling us we have to feed the 10 billion people by 2030. And if we use that, we will get more profit. If we will use more agrochemicals, we will get more profit. And we have ended up by destroying our soil quality. But the actual problem is there is no food justice. There is no equal distribution of the food. There is a very high amount of food losses because of not having appropriate technology for the storage or for the warehousing. And if they are saying that the farmers are getting profit by using their chemicals, then why the farmers are struggling all over the world? They're not getting the fair prices for the food, and why their struggle has been continued all the countries across the world. The major challenge is not the food security, but I see it as a nutritional security, because there is no nutrition left in the soil which has been exploited by these excessive chemical usage. And if we have to talk about in the long term, we have to be sustainable. The soil is the only media which can sustain us. So to break that marketing advertisement from those companies, we have to break that knowledge and understand what can be worked and implemented at the ground. So I did a very extensive research, and I was finding out there was a drought in like 50 decades or 20 decades or 2 decades before also. And we did a very intensive research with the farmers who are more than 80, 90 years old. And I asked them the questions like, was there a drought when you were doing the farming? And there were a drought. There were farmers who were really struggling to it. But then I asked, like, what were you doing to survive in this drought condition or these climatic challenges? So we found out by surveying more than 500 farmers in our area, and we came up to the study like there has been a certain practices which were followed, and that knowledge was getting transferred generation to generation. Few decades back, these chemical companies came into the place and destroyed that knowledge, and which doesn't pass to our generation. And then I tried to record that knowledge, document that knowledge, and creating the frameworks, particularly in the drought and desertification area. They have very simple cropping patterns, which was feeding the soil, which was feeding them for the long-term duration if there is even a very worse condition of a drought. And it was also impacting the environment which had a maximum carbon sequestration and the water storage in that farmland. It's a very simple process that if you use the locally available and your locally native seeds, which has a more resilience in terms of the climatic condition, you can use that. The composting and integrating the animal waste into the farming system is one of the very easy way to improve the soil quality and use it as a fertilizer replacement, as organic. Having the right cropping pattern with the combinations which actually helps the soil, but also diversify your plate and diversify your income of the farmers. Harvesting rainwater, that can be done by designing the land in such a way that whatever the rainwater that we are getting, even in a drought situation, we can harvest it and storing it into the groundwater. And the more carbon content in the soil will be having the more capacity to hold the water in that soil. Lot of people and a lot of farmers in our area were using the dead plant as a mulching, which was a very water saving technique that they use traditionally. For the youth, the representative of China very rightly mentioned that it has been lucrative profession and very booming profession in India to become agriculture, but not in all the countries. In India still that have the issues. So few of the things that I would like to address to get the youth representation more by integrating the technology with the traditional knowledge and building a better value chain, involving in a building farmer-centric technology, and this youth can play a very important role into it by having this ecosystem which can sustain the farmer, which can sustain the farmlands and the youth, and create a better food security system. Thank you very much.